Splashtop On-Prem is a self-hosted remote access and remote support solution. It's an all-in-one solution that enables companies to not only provide access for employees to remote into their work computers, but also enables IT departments to remotely support computers, mobile, and even IoT devices. In this video, we'll go over the features and look at how to download, install, and activate the On-Prem app, create users and group them, get set up for unattended access and support, attended access and support, navigate the user and management portal, and finally configure system parameters. Let's start by looking at where and how to download and set up the app. Go to splashtop.com and go to Help. Click on On-Prem and scroll to the bottom and you'll see the apps to download. Click on the On-Prem gateway and scroll down to download. After the app is downloaded, begin install. Once the installation is complete, launch the Splashtop Gateway web portal. Click Next, accept the terms and conditions. Select a password for the database admin to bootstrap the database, as well as for on-premise_support to access the database. Then enter the team or company name and the team owner credentials. With that, we finish configuring the on-prem gateway. Next, to configure your license, first log into your Splashtop account. And under license, activate your online license. Grab your email and license key provided to you. Enter it here, and that's it. You will see all the features that are enabled on your license.
Now let's look at how admins can create users and groups. First, log into your Splashtop Gateway web portal. Go to the Management tab and click Grouping and create as many groups as you need. I'm going to create Group 1. And Group 2. You can effectively manage access to certain computers by creating groups and assigning them permissions. Now go to Users and create the users that you need. I'm going to assign user 1 to Group 1 and let the user 1 be a member. I select Add. And now I'm going to create a second user, user 2. I'm going to assign user 2 to Group 2, also as a member. And I'm going to assign attended support. And that's it. You can also change or add the group after you create the user from the gear icon here.
In this section, we will explore how you and your team can get set up to get unattended access and also provide unattended support. In order to remote in instantly into a computer, you first have to deploy a streamer on that computer. Go to Deployment under the Management tab to create a deployment package. As an administrator, you can simultaneously deploy a streamer on multiple computers that you need to remote into. Give the deployment package a name. You can select grouping permissions. This package I'm going to create for group 1. You can select other settings like prompting for user permission when you're remote in and so on, and then create the deployment package. Next, you have two options to deploy the streamer. You can either use a link to deploy the streamer on another computer, or you can download directly onto this computer. I'm going to try the link and allow remote access to this computer. You can choose the appropriate streamer depending on which OS you're running. I'm going to download for Windows, and that's the deployment code you see there. Once the streamer is downloaded, enter your gateway ID and the deployment code and allow access. That's it. The Splashtop streamer is now installed, and now you can access this computer remotely. Once the streamer is installed, there are multiple settings that are available to you. Let's have a quick look. This is the status tab. In the settings tab, you have multiple options. Security settings, advanced settings, and finally info about the streamer. Let's say user 1 wants to access the computer where we just installed the streamer. Through his or her Splashtop account in the Downloads tab, they would need to download the Splashtop On-Prem app based on the OS of the device that they'd be accessing from. So for now, I'm going to download the Windows On-Prem app since I'd be accessing from a Windows machine. Once the Splashtop On-Prem client app is installed, you can log in using the gateway ID and your user credentials. And you can see the computers that you have access to. You can remote in, you can transfer files, chat, execute remote command, and get other info. Now I'm going to remote in by clicking connect. I enter my Windows username and password for the remote computer, and I'm remoted in. This is the toolbar from where I can disconnect the session. I can view multiple monitors, switch between monitors. I have different view options. I can maximize my screen, Control-Alt-Delete, record the remote session, transfer files between the computers, and other actions like blank screen. I can also initiate a chat and control the computer as if I was sitting right in front of it. Once I'm done with the session, I just disconnect. Now let's see how you can provide attended quick support to devices you don't have the streamer installed on. Log into your Splashtop On-Prem client app and click the SOS button here. You can do this even from your On-Prem Gateway web portal. On the SOS app, click Invite User to get the link that you can either send through email or chat to the end user. The user then goes to this link and downloads and runs a small app. Running the app generates a 9-digit session code that the end user will then pass back to the technician. The technician then enters the 9-digit session code and remotes in. Once again, in addition to complete control of the user's computer, the technician has access to these in-session features in the taskbar. Disconnect on finishing the session. In this section, let's navigate through the user portal. When you log in as a user, in the Computers tab, you will see the devices that you can remote into or have the streamer installed on. You can get more info when you click on the gear icon next to it. In the Devices tab, you can see the devices you have the client app installed on and information about them. Splashtop logs your remote session activity and you can access those here. You have session logs, files transferred, chats, and remote command sessions. The Downloads tab is where you can download the client apps on devices to remote from, like we did earlier on. You also have access to your account settings here. You can reset your password, change your name, your time zone, and set up two-step verification. Now let's go over the management portal. As an administrator, you have access to manage all the users, computers, devices, and much more in your Splashtop account. In the Management tab, in Users, you can see all the users that belong to the Splashtop account. You can create new users, user groups, and if you click on the gear icon there, you can also manage their access permissions, assign them to groups, and so on. You also have access to all the computers within the account. You can also view them by groups. Similarly, all the devices that the computers are being accessed from, all the groups that you are created and managing, the deployment packages, one-to-many actions, one-to-many schedules if you have them set up, and finally the settings that you can control for all the users. Here you can also integrate SOS with your ticketing system, enabling you to launch the SOS session from within your ticket. You also have access to authentication settings, wherein you can integrate your Splashtop account with an Active Directory, allowing you to centrally manage the credentials. Now let's see the options available for system configuration. As an administrator, you have access to the System tab, from where you can configure system settings. You have access to network settings, security settings, notification settings, various software components, the streamers, the on-prem apps, and the SOS apps, the maintenance schedules, the license, and of course everything about the Splashtop gateway. Going back to the agenda we saw in the beginning, these are the topics that we've gone over in this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any further questions, please visit our support site. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.